I think setbacks, I think at least you have seasons where you're doing better, you've done the work, you're growing, you're maturing, but not all growth is forward. And sometimes growth feels like a few steps back, speed bumps. And in those moments, like I constantly reminding myself what's helpful is to remind myself, because my tendency, like again, imposter syndrome, the tendency is, was it all a show? Was any of it real? Have I actually, because here I find myself struggling with my thoughts again, struggling with the negativity, right? Only to recognize there's something bigger playing out here. This isn't just a mind thing. There's something bigger affecting all of it. But I get very critical of myself, and I have to remind myself in those moments. And I shared this on an episode we did last year at this time. I'm only now beginning to recognize the pattern, but it was about this time last year. I went through a hard time, didn't recognize it for what it was. And the notion of our brains are plastic, not elastic. And we talk about neuroplasticity. We talk about the brain's ability to continue to grow in moments. So our brains are plastic, but in moments where I fall down or I'm not doing great, I tend to feel like I've snapped back to a previous version of myself. It's like an elastic. And that's actually not what's happening. I'm grateful that as I walk through this, I have better tools than I've ever had. I have amazing woman at my side. I've got great friends. I've got better resources than I've ever known. And I'm confident I'm going to walk through it.
And you've got better language, right? And I've seen it this time around where in the past you didn't have the language to use to talk about what you were going through. Whereas today, when we've had conversations and you've been processing a little bit of the emotion of what you're going through, you've got the right language to use in order to begin to really develop. You get to where you need to get to.
The language may be better in conversation with you than sometimes what's running through my head.
Yeah. Boy, that sounded like imposter syndrome right there.
Right? Happy to be a living example.